How to handle in-text citation and your works cited. First of all, I have to recommend going to Purdue OWL whenever you are looking for information regarding how to properly format your in-text citation and your works cited. You'll find information on how to handle your parenthetical citation, aka the reference line. They will show you how to do this in respects to books as well as electronic sources. So, whenever you need information like that, again, go ahead and Google Al Purdue and head over to that website. Additionally, if you need information on how to handle short versus long quotations, also how to add words, omit words, you'll find information that will explain that as well. I think the biggest thing that could possibly help most struggling writers in terms of formatting is the fact that MLA also provides you a sample MLA paper. And when you look at that paper, it will show you how to actually format your paper. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Office 365, which is the online version of Microsoft Word. So once you start typing, you get to a point at where you will have things that you want to cite. And it's important that you give that author credit for whatever they have written. If you do not, you will run into the situation where you would technically be considered plagiarizing. So, for any in-text citation, it should always have a matching corresponding works cited entry. The works cited starts on its own page. So whenever you are writing your paper, personally, I always like to create my works cited as I go along. Some people want to wait to the end and they'll just do all their in-text citation and go back at the last minute and try to put together a works cited. But it's important to do your works cited as you go along. Whenever you find something that you want to cite, because the works cited essentially dictates the reference line or the parenthetical citation that you'll use to cite things within the text of your paper. For example, let's look at Moffett in Similine and Nativity. That reference line, Moffett, the author, has a corresponding entry on the works cited page at the bottom of our paper. Moffett Robin from Shakespeare Quarterly. So our reader knows exactly where they need to go to find the information that we are citing in our paper. Moffett used a combination of reference line as well as parenthetical citation because it is a book source. The page number must be within the parenthetical citation. Also, if you're quoting Shakespeare, Shakespeare requires a format of the act, the scene, and then the line numbers. Now back to regular citations. We see a reference line for character symbol line, and then the quote that's followed is highlighted in yellow. Again, a reference line is going to allow someone to find information on your works cited page. It should tie your quote to your works cited page, which will direct your reader to the information or the place where you got your information and allow them to sort of double check your work. So when we look at our works cited page, we see character symbol line in quotation marks, which is the title of the web page where we found our information, not necessarily the website, but the web page. That's why it's in quotation marks. Now, we go to the Utah Shakespeare Festival. We see the title of the page is character symbolized, which is why it's in quote, and we see the information that I actually quoted in my paper. Now, in order to figure out how to do your works cited entry, you are going to have to use a website like EasyBib and or Citation Machine. If you type EasyBib into Google, you will find yourself at EasyBib, and you want to make sure you either click the website tab, book tab, or database tab, whatever is applicable to the source you're finding. Make sure it's set to MLA 7, and for instance, website, copy and paste the URL, hit cited, It's going to find some information for you. There's going to be other things that it couldn't find. Maybe you'll luck out, it'll find everything for you. But in the event it doesn't find some of the information, you have to go back to that website and find whatever it's requesting. In this instance, it wants us to find out who the publisher sponsor is, who the author is, and when it was electronically published. So go back to your website, look around, look at the top, look at the bottom, look at the middle. A lot of times you will find the information you need on the very page you're at. Sometimes you have to look around. So right here I found the year it was actually published, which is 2017. Check the About Us link, which is common on all websites if you're looking for author information or who the sponsor slash publisher are going to be. In this situation, the Utah Shakespeare Festival actually looks like the name of the group that has published the information. It may actually be at Southern University of Utah, but it is actually some kind of program that actually is running out in Utah. So the publisher and sponsor is going to be Utah Shakespeare Festival, and we're going to put that year it was published, which is 2017. Notice that the article title was at the top, and that's character symbol line. We're going to go ahead and click Create Citation. And now what we come up with after the brief loading is a properly formatted MLA citation entry that you would copy and paste and put on your Works Cited page, which is the last page of your document. Again, anything you copy and paste onto your Works Cited, do not assume that it's going to stay in 12 font Times New Roman. It's your job to make sure that everything stays in 12 font Times New Roman and is formatted correctly. This just gives you a helping hand in helping you to format things correctly. It won't always be correct. So highlight the text, check your top, see if Times New Roman disappears, see if the 12 disappeared. If it did, something's not in its proper formatting, so go ahead and change it. Also check your line spacing. Make sure the spacing before, after is set to 0 and your line spacing is set to double. You also want to make sure that if there are more than one line to that entry that you just copied and pasted onto the Works Cited entry, that the second line itself is tabbed over one time, or the third line, however many lines there are for that specific entry. Now, in order to break formatting, sometimes you will have to press enter either at the end of the previous line or at the beginning of the line that you want to tab over. You have to experiment with it to figure out how to break the formatting so you can actually tab open a second or third or fourth line as necessary. Okay, remember that quotation marks character symbol line is the first tag in that Works Cited entry, so that's why I use that as my reference line. In other instances, you might just use the last name of author like Carr or Keller, things of that nature. And that's it. That's how you will properly format a in-text citation. And this is a short in-text citation. And also, it's not supposed to be highlighted. I only highlighted it for the purposes of making it stand out for you. In the event you do have a long block of text that you're citing in terms of prose or anything like that, it usually gets its own block. Go ahead and go to Al Purdue to check the formatting and read up on that in the event you need to do block. All right, have a great day.